Welcome, Halfling haters. Welcome to this tutorial series on Age of Wonders 4. I'm being facetious, of course. If you've watched my channel at any time, you'll know that I really have disliked Halflings in the past with Age of Wonders, but I actually don't mind them in this version, in Age of Wonders 4. So welcome to the tutorial series. As I said, my name is DasTactic. Before I get started, a special thank you to anyone that supports the channel, whether that be through Patreon or through membership here at YouTube, through merchandising, through the game store, etc., etc. All the links are in the description. So thank you guys. And also, if you do want to interact with the video, it certainly does help with the YouTube algorithm, the dreaded YouTube algorithm, which really does do a lot of damage for these sorts of long format sort of series. Anyway, let's just get into it. In this episode, we're going to be looking at initial interaction. So there's going to be a few different diplomacy videos that will come. This is the initial introduction to a new faction. So I mentioned halflings. I've saved scum. I'm going to show you what's happening in this underground passage that we have. I'm going to send Alfred down. Now, it doesn't have to be Alfred. In fact, these ones won't be able to get through in one turn. But if we send Alfred down, so he's just exploring at this point in time, just in the early part of the game. And so if we enter this one, you can see down through here, the passage of this, he's now occupying this particular passage. I'll talk about choke points at some other point. Anyway, we'll just go through. And we've now hit the vision of this particular heroine, and this is Sanguine the Etona, and she, you can see through here that her race is the bloodied halflings. The bloody halflings, damn it, get them out of there, get them out of there. So these will ultimately be this should be ultimately an enemy of ours. And we can see down through there's a few different things. So let's just go through what we can see, and then we'll talk about the diplomacy. So her name is Sanguine the Etona. She has the same sort of affinities as us, very loosely actually. She's got the Empire Order, so the Order affinity in through there, the Nature affinity, 2 Nature affinities and 1 Chaos. We've got 4 Order, 1 Nature and 1 Materium. So she's got 1 Chaos in through that other side. So depending on what, whatever she's actually then gone and picked. Another little thing we can sort of see right from the start through here is what her level is in the actual game itself. Like, where is she ranked? And if we hover over that one, we can see the ranking that she has. And so her overall ranking is 2nd out of 4, because there's only 4 players on the map. Her military is coming last. Her expansion ranking is the first. She's got more people than us in that case. Her magic ranking is also coming last, and her economy ranking is coming first as well. So she's doing fairly well in through there. Now, if we have a look, the race itself is the bloodied halflings. And again, we can just sort of see what goes on. That she is, hang on, where are we? She is, because she's an AI, she is the keeper of the bloodied halflings. We spoke about this in 2 episodes ago, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2 episodes ago. The traits, they've got quick reflexes. This is actually what the halflings actually have. These are harder to hit by ranged attacks. So if we go in with ranged attacks against the halflings, we're going to struggle a little bit. So if we keep that in mind, we may be able to build up armies that are more working with melee, so we can sort of push the halflings around and negate those quick reflexes. And in this case, they've got underground adaptation. Now, this is not a typical halfling trait, but in this case, Sanguine, with her bloodied halflings, and Sanguine is a story character, like she comes from a previous story. You can see all the blood all over her mouth and down through her gullet and across her breast. It's so she's actually been feasting as a cannibal. So they've got the underground adaptation through there. So they get basically extra movement points by moving around underground. So they're very adept at it. They can build farms on cavern floors in through there as well. And the starting bonus they have is excavation. They can start to excavate underground before anyone else. They're feudal, like us, so we've got the same sort of feudal society. They've got adept settlers. This actually allows them to then have like the extra population. That's why they're coming first in terms of the expansion ranking. So that's actually why that one's actually kicking back in. everything makes sense in this game. Everything makes sense. And then the ritual cannibals as well. This allows them, she's going to be a bit evil, which we can sort of see through there. The nearest city owned gains +3 mana and +3 food per tier of non-magic origin units killed or lost after successful combat. So as they kill off units, they do get extra food and mana, but also the units gain corpse eating, which allows them to heal up 15 temporary hit points. So I'll talk about that when we do the episodes on combat. But this is sort of like what they have got. The Throne City is Dawnwatch, which we've just come across, which is why we're seeing her. The personality is she's an Imperial Warlord. Now, this is quite interesting. These tend to be randomized a little bit. And so an Imperial Warlord, what does that mean? The personality traits are sort of how they're likely to respond to you. There's a few different things that will indicate what their response to you actually is and how they think of you. But a big part of that is their actual personality traits. And so an Imperial Warlord is an imperialistic ruler who favours stability through subjugation. So her preferences are, and this informs how they respond to the actions of other empires, they like empires that trade grievances. Actually, let's just go back across this way. Now, grievances are sort of established if you step on each other's toes. It's a precursor to war, really. And you need grievances to be able to justify a war. And so what she likes is for there to be grievances, and then you trade them away, so you end up with equality or stability within the various empires. She also likes empires that don't break treaties, so she does actually have some morals, I guess, there, or at least some ethics about treaties. Dislikes empires with a larger domain. Now we're going to be trying to expand our domain, so we're going to be in the dislike column there, and dislikes empires with few alliances. Now, we shouldn't be there, but all these things will then push her into certain directions. And so the strategy informs their behaviour on the strategic map, which is the main map that we're playing. And so driven by war, so the ruler is easily provoked to go to war, even over minor grievances. They will not sell or forgive any of their grievances and are more eager to send and answer a call to war. Now that's if they're allied. A call to war is given by other allies. They've got never surrender, so the ruler will not submit to becoming another ruler's vassal. During war, they will not make peace of their own accord. They're more eager to call allies to war and would also more readily answer a call to war, which you spoke about just before. Extermination. The ruler favours capturing resources using large armies rather than building them themselves, and will raise other cities that they have occupied. It's going to be a system of, if we end up at war with them, they're going to raid our areas first before they take the cities on. And expansion. The ruler favours expanding their empire by building and absorbing cities. They focus on improving their cities and defending them. Now, these are very, very close to the Goblin City that we found. Now, the Goblin City is also not part of their group, so we don't have to worry about them as such. But we're going to be vying if they actually get on onto the overmap, then we could have some problems with that. So I'm thinking I'm going to block that off so that they can't easily get out from the underground. So we'll do these sorts of things. Now so that's interesting. Like to sort of have a bit of a look at all of this stuff. It gives you a really good flavour for how things are going to pan out. They're interested in gold and mana. That's actually what they've got an interest in trading that, for example, if we wanted to do anything. This will change over the course of the game. And the threat level is wary, so they're wary of us. Now the threat level, so the ruler feels threatened by your empire, which affects their relations with them by -200. Now remember I told you 2 episodes ago, I think it was 2 episodes ago, that the ratings go from -800 to +800. So when we come back past this screen, we'll then sort of see exactly what she thinks of us in those sorts of terms. But we have a -200 right from the very, very start. In fact, we can see it there. The -360 is kicking in at that point there. 200 of that, the -200 of that -360 is from the threat level that's actually she's experiencing. Now, there's this is actually her diplomatic relationships with everyone on the map, all the majors. Nothing in alliance, no defensive pact. It's currently at peace with us. So back in through this other side, and then no one, not at war with anyone as well. So this is sort of where we actually are at this point in time. You can see if we hover over this, and we can do this for any of the other factions that we come across, is we can start to see what the war justifications are as well. The game doesn't hide much, which is fantastic. You can see that also when we do this, the overall ranking for us, I'll just try to get across, we're 3 of 4. So with the overall ranking, they're 2 of 4. So we're coming, second last. So the game considers them to be more powerful than us at this point in time. Okay, so that's sort of where we are. Now, the relations, if we hover over this negative 360, we can see exactly what is kicking in through here. So, Empire relations with Sanguine the Atona, negative 360. There's no active modifiers in this particular instance. The passive modifiers, this is the modifiers of what's going on. Because we share the order affinity, we get plus 100. Same as what happened with the free cities. Which it sort of opposes chaos, but even though she has some chaos, again, you can sort of share these affinities. We've only just met, which gives us, for 10 turns, there'll be a negative 25 there. The alignment, we're good and they're evil. That's a negative 100. The inherent dislike, back in through here as well. Sorry, I'll just go and hover over these and just see if we can get any tooltips. This is going to essentially, there's going to be this inherent dislike. I don't know if that will ever go away. It's got plus 5 per turn. So it's just going to get worse and worse in this instance. So they're just going to get, we're going to be at war with them pretty quickly, actually. And the threat level we saw there of wary being the negative 200. So that gives us that negative 360. So to get around that, what we can then go and do, so we can just read what she says. She says, "So you King Alfred Elderstone of the Destined Humans. I am not impressed. Tread carefully before I decide that your realm is actually worth conquering." And so Sanguine greets you with contempt. So how do you greet the High Priestess Sanguine the Atona? So we've got a few different things. Now, if I want to see where she is, I can just click on this, and then I can see exactly where she is in this instance, or click on it to bring it back. The things that we actually can do, we can send a welcoming gift, so greet the other ruler with a gift. They might make a formidable ally in the future. You gift 50 gold, and your relations with this ruler will improve by 50. So we'll go from negative 360 to negative 310. Now remember, the maximum we can have is negative 800. So we're already nearly halfway down to absolute hatred, and we're going to get to absolute hatred pretty quickly with this particular group. We can give a threatening welcome. So insult the other ruler. Who needs them anyway? Your relations with them will suffer negative 50, and they may eventually be lured into war. They're going to anyway, so it wouldn't matter if we did that one, but let's not bother about it. We can, depending on what happens, just try to start negotiating with them. I might just show you what this looks like. And so this then takes us into the standard negotiating screen for the various factions. So typically you will end up in this screen, like from this point forward. I wanted to show that first screen when you first meet an AI. You never see that screen again. They will always now show back into here as to from everything else that then goes forward with the actual faction itself. And so on our side, we can see that we're coming third. So again, we've got military ranking is 3 or 4, so we actually are stronger than them militarily, but only just. It's very early in the game, so it doesn't really have any real bearing on anything at all in this stage. But we can do a few different things in through here, and I'll probably do this in depth another time. Negotiations really are for trade deals or for trying to get some sort of treaty or anything else like. And so there's different things you can do. We can't do them yet because we're not friendly enough with them. We can also then give them assets, like we've got resources available like mana and gold, for example. You've got things like gold per turn. You've got the barbed shield. That would actually then make them feel happier. They don't have any of their assets on offer. The barbed shield, this is a piece of equipment that I picked up. I wasn't recording when I picked this one up. Or we can just send a gift. So if we're going to send a gift, we can then sort of show there that send a gift in through this side, either 160 gold or 160 mana. And if we do that one, the trade value is 160. But it's not really going to. It's not really anything that's going to help us all that much. So we'll just go back. So there's nothing back in here. If I just go back out again, the other thing we can do is make a pronouncement. And again, you can sort of see this negative 360. We can hover over that at any point in time. There is no war justification at the moment. So declaring war now would be very, very disastrous. I'll go through this in detail later on when we're sort of a bit further into the actual game itself. But you do want to have justification for going to war. Now, there's a few different things in the pronouncements area. And so if I declare war without justification, I'll click on it because there's a two-screen aspect of it. It will then show me exactly what's going to happen through here. So you declare war on Sanguine the Etona without any grievance. Your alignment, imperium, income, and relations with other non-allied rulers and cities will suffer heavily. Now, it's the big one here is the imperium income is going to really, really hurt badly. So you don't want to go and do it. So grievances awarded to non-allied rulers. So we'll end up with 10 grievances against us for doing this one. Relations with vassal cities will also be negative for 20 turns, which we don't want. The allegiance of vassal cities will go down by 10 allegiance factors, which we don't want. Relations with non-vassal cities will also go down by negative 25 for 20 turns. And the base global income for our imperium will go down by negative 20%, which is we're getting plus 40, so yeah, we're going to lose 8 per turn basically, so we'll be down to plus 32, which doesn't sound like very much, but if we do it where, depending on how many grievances we actually have, we can actually go one where we're unjustified. So we've just got a 0 justification now, but we could be unjustified, and in that case we actually tend to stop until the war is over any sort of income at all with the Imperium. Imperium is quite important, which I'll talk about in another episode. So our forces are just about equally matched, and so I definitely don't want to be declaring war. But mainly because of all those other roll-on effects with how quickly we'll then get our vassals. It's better for her to declare war against us. And so she'll probably start to work her way forward to try to get grievances against us. And so grievances become very, very important for empires that do want to declare war. So we'll just go across and say goodbye. The pronouncements, actually this is another thing we can do. We can declare friendship. This will cost us 100. Now it's basically 100 per declaration you have, whether it be a declaration of friendship or rivalry with other AIs. These are quite expensive. So with the first one, it's going to cost 100. The second one with another AI would be 200. The third one would be 300, for example. And also, the thing I don't like about this, and I hope that they change it in the game, there's actually a maintenance cost for keeping these going of 10 gold per upkeep. Again, if it was the second declaration we've made, either friendship or rivalry with another AI, it would be 20 gold per upkeep per turn. It can get quite expensive, and really I don't find the benefit all that great. The friendship makes it harder for you tend to be pushing to try to get to plus 300 rather than minus 360 in this case. And it makes it harder for the grievances to stick. So the grievances against you are sort of reduced. If you do a declaration of rivalry, this pushes it more towards the negative and also makes the grievances actually more pronounced. So it's still useful to do it if you do need to sort of try to get grievances. You can also fabricate grievances as well. Like if you really do need to justify some sort of war, you can do this as well. It's quite simple, but intricate at the same time. It works very, very well. Anyway, that's the way it does work. Let's just go back, and I'm just going to say goodbye. But that's the initial response that we had from Sanguine. So this is actually where we're now seeing Dawnwatch. We can have a look inside. We can see certain things. For example, they've got a mine built there with their gold mine. We can't see much else that's actually in through this other side. Again, the bloodied halflings, they've got 3 population. They started with 1 extra than us. Again, if we click diplomacy, we end up back in this screen. So pretty much from this point forward, all of diplomacy will then go back to that particular screen. The other way I can quickly get to diplomacy is just to go and click on her avatar in the top corner there. Just go and click on it. We end up back in this particular screen as well. And again, it gives us all the information that we need to know about the other faction and about us as well. So we can sort of plan things very, very quickly just by sort of, by hovering over different aspects, seeing what the justification for war actually is. And, if there was other AIs in there as well, that would all sort of show up. So the game does a great job at not hiding things from you. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to go through. Just the initial diplomacy with an AI player. Thanks for watching.